I like this one, Mel. I like this one. Stop and look for the potential greater greatness in your offspring. Oh, man, Kenny, I like that. Chris, I see Kenny up here. I like that. That's father and son, y'all. I like that. Look for the greater greatness in your offspring. Haynes, what are you talking about? I'm talking about verse 21. Look what the angel says to Mary in verse 21. The angel says two things to Joseph. Look at what he says to Joseph. He says two things to Joseph. He says to Joseph, first of all, she's going to bear a son. That involves my doing and her obedience. He says, the angel says to Joseph, first of all, I want you to know, Mary's going to bear a son. That's about me and her obedience. So understand that. That's about me doing something in her. And then secondly, he turns to Joseph and he says, you. Somebody say you. You. He says, and you, he talked about what he was going to do, how Mary was going to obey, and then he turns to Joseph and he says, you shall call his name Jesus. And that was his directive for Joseph's obedience. What do you got to do? In your household, whoever your children are, boy or girl, you have to stop just like Joseph had to do, and you have to look for the potential greater greatness in your offspring. What am I trying to tell you? I'm trying to tell you that no matter how your children are behaving, you don't know who you have in your house, so be careful. You don't know who those grandkids are going to grow up and be. You better be careful.
Amen.
Look for the potential of greater greatness in your children, and dare I say, even in your grandchildren. Can I go to number 7? Yes. Number 7 is in verses 22 and 23. I want you to note this. Are you ready? Yes. Her prenatal situation was linked to a preordained divine setup, which would result in a post-birth blessing. Let me say it again. Her prenatal situation was linked to a preordained divine setup. How many of y'all remember setup from last week? Somebody holler, setup!